It's Fit and 50 here. Today we're talking about abs and core. This episode's so good, it's going to have you begging for more. So over the last 6 years or so that I've been doing this, I've done a lot of different ab and core exercises, and I went back, took a look, picked the ones I felt were my favorite, and decided to share them with you. So we're going to talk about everything right from planks to dragon flags. I'm going to do some dragon flags at the end. I've recently added them back into my program, although maybe not for the reason you might expect, but I'll let you know what that is when we do them. So first we're going to talk about planks. Don't discount planks. I know they're a very common exercise, but they do a lot for your entire core. They have a lot of advantages. Now when I'm talking core, just to be clear, I'm basically talking right from about this height here down to about your pelvis and everything all the way around. So I'm not just talking about your abs and your obliques, but I'm also talking about your glutes, your hip flexors, your low back, and even your lats. So the plank is a great one. It's also one that's really good for people who sit at a desk all day. So if you're sitting at a desk and you're always hunched over, you're working, or you're somebody who's always on your phone, you kind of get to compress that spine in there. And so exercises like crunches can actually compress that even more. So an exercise like this really helps to straighten you out. So now we're going to go to the floor. I'll just show you a basic plank. Down on your elbows, straight out. Now the most common problem you see with a plank is the butt up problem, right? So everybody's got their butt up like this and they think this is a plank. This is not the best use of a plank. I mean, this can get hard to do, but you need to be down like this. And that's the thing I see the most. I've seen a lot of instructions that suggest you actually roll your core in like this. It does seem to help engage the abs a bit more, so I would consider doing that. I'll kind of overdo it here. Like that, you don't have to go quite that far, but to engage the core. Now this is something obviously you can make a lot harder. I'm even just sitting here now, I kind of feel myself starting to shake and I've only been here a few seconds, right? But you can make this harder by starting to create a little bit of movement. When you put one arm out and then back, or put a leg up. Or if you get a little more advanced, you can put two out. I almost can't talk and do that one. All right, so that's a lot of ways you make it a lot tougher. But then again, you can change the distance in between the feet and the hands to make it more difficult. So what I mean by that is you actually kind of come more into a push-up position. Now you can walk out, or you can walk out and hold it. I'll show you what I mean. And that totally will engage your core a lot more too. And then you can hold and then walk back. And that little bit of movement really adds a lot. And improving your plank is going to improve your push-ups. It's going to improve a lot of your other exercises, because being able to stabilize your core is really an essence or a very key component to being able to do exercise with proper form. So now we're going to do bicycle crunches. A couple little things with the crunches to keep in mind, and these are even just basic crunches. This is the thing you see a lot in the gym. People working like crazy, and they're getting a hell of a neck exercise in. But in order to really take advantage and make this a core exercise, you got to make sure your shoulder blades are coming up off the ground. So you got to go like that. So you see how there's that space there, the shoulder blades are up? So that's really what you're trying to do, even in the most basic of a crunch. So now in the bicycle crunches, you raise your legs up, and then you alternate elbow to knee. And so that'll engage your core and your obliques a bit more, or your abs, really is what I'm trying to say there, and your obliques a bit more. Something to keep in mind here too is I don't recommend lacing your fingers, because then what tends to happen, a lot of people are pulling their head up with their arms, and you're not focusing on the core movements. You really need to focus on that movement. So when I do this, I tend to put my hands by the sides of my head, and then lift my feet up, and really focus on the core. And that's the bicycle crunch. So the next one we're going to do, it's another floor one here. I'm just going to grab a weight, but we are going to do the Russian twist. Now I had trouble figuring out what the difference between a Roman twist and a Russian twist is, But I really think the difference is, and they get mixed up all the time, is that the Roman twist is done in a Roman chair, where the Russian twist is done on the floor here. Let me move back a little bit. There. Now, the Russian twist, you raise up your feet, and you put your hands together like this, and you turn. And this is one of those exercises that's more effective if you go nice and slow. You can make it a bit more difficult by leaning back farther. Oh, I'm almost back too far. And then that adds to the difficulty of it. You can also use weight, which will add to the challenge. And then you turn with the weight. Again, slow makes this way harder than fast. Again, it's a feet up exercise, and definitely that's a whole core exercise. You should feel that all the way around. Now from here, we're going to move to hanging leg raises. So a hanging leg raise at home here, it's just like when I did the Liebert video. I have to keep my feet slightly forward because otherwise I'm hitting the floor. And it's a pretty basic exercise. You will see as I go up that I actually start using my lats for the last part of it. And as I'd said earlier, I consider the whole core from here all the way around, so I do consider lats part of the core. Now, we'll just give you an example here of how I do them here at home. So I gotta hang here a bit, got a bit of a swing going on, but as soon as it stops, then I lift my legs up. This lower part really engages the abdominals. And then when I go do the upper part, I start to work my lats a bit more. And you can throw windshield wiper in there if you want. And down. But this is really the ab part here the most. Of course, if you want, you can do them with your knees. It makes it a little bit easier. And that's the hanging leg raise, which you can easily do at home or at the gym. So now we're going to set up for dragon flags. And it's time for the finale. So dragon flags were made famous by Bruce Lee and Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky movies, and they're a good exercise to do, a little more advanced. Now when you watch me do them, you'll see that how I set up is I have to put my legs right up in the air and then drop down into the dragon flag position. That's how most people get into it. And you'll also see when I do my reps, I'll go down as low as I can, almost to the bench, and then I'll come up, and then I'll try to stop right where I find my legs wanting to raise up like this. When your legs start to raise up, it actually makes it a little bit easier. There's nothing wrong with making it a little bit easier when you're at the edge of your ability, right? But something that just tells me it's time to go back down to put the tension back on. So I'll do a couple reps here, and then we'll talk about it. Oh. That's another exercise that works best slow. The reason why I brought it back into my workouts is I was playing around with different exercises, and I discovered that movement really works my lats. My back is a bit of a weakness, so I'm always looking for ways to improve it. When I felt how that worked in my lats, I totally wanted it back in my program. So those are my favorite ab exercises. Let me know in the comments what your favorite ab exercise is. Excellent. We'll talk to you guys in that next video. This is Fit and 50 signing out. Please like the video, comment, and share it if you know people who would enjoy it. And keep working out, and always have fun.